he's going to be like that the whole movie?
I told you we should have seen Frozen.
Is he dead?
No. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Tavern Talk by Initial Reaction. I'm Philip, and joining me this week, Mr. Jordan Mears.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time to do this once again.
Thanks,
If you've checked out the channel before, you know Jordan has done several reviews with us, so always good to have you.
Always good to be here.
Good insight and.
I try.
Yeah, no, it's good. If you follow Jordan on social media, if you don't, you should.
Yeah,
but
I need more friends.
Yeah, but if you do, you've seen that you've been shooting a short film recently.
Yeah, it's called New West. It's a weird action comedy musical thing. It's gonna be like 35 minutes long, and it's gonna be the weirdest thing anybody's probably ever seen. So.
Well, with that said, I'm excited to see it. I've been following your updates, and as you were in production and everything. So definitely follow Jordan. We'll have links in the description and everything. Check that out and look for updates on New West.
Wild time.
Yeah, no. There was a Wild West joke there, but I'm too tired to make it.
It's like almost.
But no, we're here to talk about Knives Out this week. It is the new movie from Rian Johnson. You probably know Rian Johnson from The Last Jedi. But even if you weren't a big fan of The Last Jedi, which admittedly I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but everything prior to that.
Dude, Brick is amazing.
Brick's
Looper
great.
is great. Brothers Bloom.
Brothers Bloom is, more people should see Brothers Bloom, so go do that. But yeah, Looper and Brick are fantastic as well.
The scores for so I'm gonna
Just
veer off for a second. Brick, the score to Brick is phenomenal.
I need to listen to it again.
Movie Brick is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Watch Brick and watch Knives Out.
Yeah. We'll start with that. Definitely watch Knives Out. Knives Out is it's written and directed by Johnson. It is a kind of murder mystery whodunit in the vein of Clue, and we were kind of talking about the Agatha Christie novels
and like the Poirot, like Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah. Daniel Craig is kind of that sleuth of a character.
He's the detective that knows it all, and if he doesn't know it all, he'll figure it out.
Yeah. He's very. He doesn't literally wink at the camera, but he might as well.
Oh,
a few times.
I don't know, that one shot that pushes past the knives, and when he turns to the camera, I'm like, that they know exactly what they're doing.
Oh yeah, and yeah, this is that type of movie. It knows exactly what it is, and it's just operating within this genre to try and execute that genre to the best of its ability, and it does a pretty damn good job. I'd say. I really enjoyed it.
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, and I gotta say, like, the way that information is told in this film is incredible. Yeah. Like, they give you everything pretty much up front, and you're like, well, where else can this movie go? And it just keeps going into unexpected territories, and all of the characters are introduced in the beginning in a way that is pretty genius. I mean, it's been done before, but it's just a really efficient, fun way to get to know who the characters are, what they're about, and for you to also kind of be like, well, this person may have done it, this person may have done it. Yeah. And the way the information is relayed in this film is just awesome.
Yeah, and like we were saying, he wrote it, so he's very keen. Like, you can tell every piece of dialogue is very intentional. Yeah. And he layers in the interview process really well. It's cut really well, and you're immediately just thrown into this scenario with this family. Yeah. To summarize it a little bit, Christopher Plummer is this novelist who has this large estate, very wealthy from not only writing his own books, but he runs the publishing company that handles them, or more his son, who's played by Michael Shannon, runs the publishing house. He has an older daughter played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who is self-made. With we won't go any further than that, but she's with a realty company. Yeah, exactly. She's married to Don Johnson. They have a son which
is Chris Evans.
Yeah. He's the black sheep of the family. But then you also have Toni Collette,
who was married to, I guess, their other son, who's now dead, and they have a daughter together named Meg. And then there's the nurse.
The nurse is Ana de Armas, if you've seen, Blade Runner 2049, War Dogs, Knock Knock, that Eli Roth movie. You'll recognize her. And
you can't forget the weird little grandson. The weird little grandson, like he's the
Jaeden,
one. Martell or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
He's the one that I feel like is going to slip through the cracks, but they have some of the best jokes towards him.
And I was going to mention, I'm blanking again.
Michael, did you already talk about Michael Shannon?
Well, we said he was, he runs the publishing house. He's the son. And Jaeden Martell is his son.
Edie Patterson is the maid.
Yeah, what is she? I recognize
Righteous
her.
Gemstones. She's in Righteous Gemstones
she's
as a
hilarious.
sister.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, that is her. I could not figure out who that was.
And then you got LaKeith as a detective, and then you've got Noah Sagan as another detective.
Right, and then we mentioned Daniel Craig as kind of the PI that's been brought in.
All of that to say, the cast is insane. The cast is, it's off the charts for sure. And so going from there, it throws us into this family dynamic because Christopher Plummer's character is found dead of a presumed suicide, and they, for LaKeith's character, the officer, they've done this. It's kind of an open shut case, he says, but obviously with Craig's character being brought in, there's more to it, more to figure out, and so it kind of goes from there. But in traditional Rian Johnson fashion, he kind of upends your expectations at every turn.
I was not expecting the way that things unfolded. I didn't expect them to unfold that way.
Yeah, because you go in expecting the mystery to be one thing.
Yeah.
But that's not
it ends up
the
becoming
mystery.
Like a bunch of other things.
Yeah. The mystery you think it's going to be is not the main mystery of the narrative.
But I think that keeps it fun and it keeps it fresh for sure, because I mean, there's only so much that you can do with like a whodunit. Like the threads can only go so far.
Right.
With so many people
and see, that's kind of, I don't want to harp on the whole Star Wars deal, but that like upending the expectations in that movie, maybe where it didn't work as well because you have a certain set of expectations for that type of film, or not even that type of film, that world.
Yeah. Because that universe has already been set.
Right.
And for him to come in and be like,
right. But then you do that in a genre movie like this, and it's like, okay, this is where that's appropriate. This is where it works better and to your advantage, because we really are expecting one thing and aren't going to be, hurt by any kind of betraying of tradition or tone or anything like that.
But it's also, too, I gotta say, like, it's also surprisingly a really heartfelt political.
Very much so. It's one huge allegory.
And it's also hilarious at times. Like,
and it's beautiful to look at.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is...
Elegant.
Yes, elegant was the word you said, and it really is. We were talking about some of the... the shadow shots, or its use of shadow in a lot of the...
A really good patio scene where somebody's hidden in shadows, and the way that it's lit is just great.
There were like 2 or 3 uses of silhouette in here that I would have I'd frame them and put on the wall.
Like the basement of the laundromat.
Yeah.
That was really well
done. It looks really good. It's got a, like you said, an elegant kind of aesthetic to it, and it just has that.
It's got a classic feel.
It does. That's exactly what it is.
Classy crime novel feel.
That's exactly right.
It feels like something that you would read out of one of those books.
Yeah, I said earlier, LaKeith's character even says this guy lives looks like he lives on a clue board. So it's definitely, he's playing off those things that you're familiar with, but he takes the plot in a completely different direction.
It very much is the political allegory, like you were saying, and I think we have to address that, because it starts out, there's a conversation that's like, this is just thrown in to kind of provide a little bit of social commentary. Just like, this is where these characters lie a little bit further, kind of give them...
But then it kind of becomes like the underlying theme of what the entire thing is essentially about.
Yes.
And it's also not just a political film. It's also about like the goodness of people but also the rottenness of people and how like expectations and money and wealth and privilege spoil people, and they just expect and how it'll even, you know, never mind.
No, what?
I was gonna say how maybe it might make some of them make questionable decisions or do bad things.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to some other characters in the film that are just genuinely good, and it's just like and the whole thing is about who deserves what. Is anything even deserved?
I was gonna say, it gets to the point of like, why do you deserve?
And does any of it even matter?
Right. This is a group of entitled people who have come to expect their life to meet a certain standard while not really earning any of it or working for it. And then you have another character who is, you know,
works hard,
and is just earnest to a fault, like just sincere and genuine and kind.
None of that stuff even phases the character. That character,
right?
And by none of that stuff, I mean like the money and the power.
Yes.
And they're not somebody who's swayed.
Right. Exactly. No, they are. I mean, pure in the sense that it's not just to make Johnson's point, but like even from the beginning, where you kind of expect. And maybe a little bit of spoiler territory here. So, you know, if you haven't seen Knives Out, be warned. But I don't think we'll give away too much. It's, you know, you don't know who to suspect, but you don't really ever think it's going to be this person because of the way he paints the character.
Or people. You know, you want to throw in people.
Who knows? But... yeah, no, it's very sly in how it presents that. It is, like you were saying, it kind of starts out as just a specific point to maybe flesh out the characters a little more, and then as the scope of the plot broadens, you see the bigger strokes of where he's going with it, what points he's making.
Really smart, and it's really well done. Yeah, and it's not being too preachy. You know, like it's like there are times where you're like, okay, I get where you're going with this. But I think it's one of those movies that most people can enjoy. Because, like, I mean...
yeah, absolutely. There's only one speech that I think kind of, like, hits the nail on the head really hard.
You can tell that Johnson's, like, very liberal. And he's, like, preaching kind of a liberal-ish...
yes, this is where I'm coming from. But no... overall, it provides multiple perspectives and is able to kind of... like I said, not just flesh out characters, but layer in different ideas.
It's fun for the whole family.
It kind of is, honestly. Like, I mean, I would say, like, there's not a whole lot of cursing in here.
No, there's like 2 F-bombs.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even... was there that?
I don't even... is it like R or PG-13?
You know, I'm not even sure. Like, I feel like if you're...
it was like PG-13.
I would think it's PG-13. Like, 11 or 12... It is. It's 11... or it's PG-13. So, I mean, I would feel like even 10, 11, 12, like...
I mean, if that's their thing. I feel like most 10 or 11, 12s are probably watching Frozen or whatever, but I feel like maybe 13 and what, you know, 13 probably sounds about right.
Yeah, but
this kind of movie.
Maybe if you were like an 11-year-old that walked into this, had no idea what it was, like, I feel like it would be one of those ones that just blew your mind.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see that.
Because you might have never seen anything like it before.
Like, you have, it's one of those movies you have to like subject matter like that. Like, if you've got somebody who likes crime novels or is into like mystery stories, then it's totally going to be their bag.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, and to the like, yeah, it has all this commentary within it, but even if you don't want to look into that,
it's just fun.
It's a super entertaining movie.
Yeah.
A ton of good performances, and it's it's entertaining on just a surface level as well.
There's never a dull moment in this movie.
And as we said, it looks great. So like, just it's a well-rounded movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of performances, we mentioned the crazy cast this thing has. Were there any like highlights of performances that you want to touch on?
I gotta say, I had 3.
Okay.
I had 3. I really liked Jamie Lee Curtis. I feel like, I mean, she wasn't. Like, she's in it quite a bit, but she's not, like, one of the main, parts of the family. But I feel like what she did, like, there were times where I equally hated her, but times where I also really felt like sorry for her or was like along there with her.
I kind of wanted more from her, like more of that character.
Yeah, because she brought so much to it where you're just like, this is really interesting, and the fact that I'm feeling this way about this character means something's going right.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris Evans. Chris Evans, like, he almost steals the movie.
He does.
Like,
it's pretty fantastic.
And he doesn't even come in until like halfway through.
Yeah, you're like, I thought Evans was in this thing.
And then
like,
when he shows up, he's a tornado.
It is fantastic. It's just he's
chewing that scenery.
He's oozing just swagger across. I mean, just the whole time, and he knows it, and he's playing it up.
And he's having a blast, and you're having a blast watching him.
Yeah. It's really fun.
And then I gotta say, Anna de Armas, like she's like the core. She's the core.
Yeah. She's the donut hole.
She's the donut hole. Watch the movie and you'll see what we mean by that.
No, she's the one I came out of it and was most surprised. Not only just like how significant her character was.
Yeah, because the promotionals don't even. It's just like, oh yeah, she's part of this movie.
Yeah,
but they're not giving away.
You may have seen her, and therefore she's
like a major part of it.
Yeah,
and I think the movie's much stronger because of it.
And and it's not just that she's significant that makes her like more impactful. Like, it's a really good performance.
It is a very good performance.
You know where she's coming from, and like you feel it.
And again, it's like Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, there are times where you might be unsure about this character and the decisions that they're making, but then there are times where you really feel what that character is going through, and you're like, I feel really bad for this character, or I really want this character to succeed, or maybe this character does deserve this to happen to them or that to happen to them.
Yeah, like, you very much conflicted as far as like they're kind of.
Like, everybody's kind of in a middle ground. Yeah, like, everybody's in a middle ground, and they can either go this way or that way. And sometimes they'll go this way, and then they'll come back this way. And then maybe they'll go back that way.
So they're people.
They're people. They're very, like, yeah, exactly. Everybody's
yeah.
very layered and flawed.
Yeah, it's, I mean, we've talked about how well executed the movie is, but you can tell it's just a well-written script.
Yeah.
And every idea has kind of been placed in there
and it's also
for a reason.
Comedy of errors, too.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, like, how much of a comedy of errors it was going to be, but I guess it kind of comes with the territory of
that's true.
Mystery.
Clue always kind of had that snarky attitude to it that's very very sarcastic, but
it's like, we're trying to figure out who did it. Oh, this person may have done it. Oh no, now we're fudging up the crime scene.
Right, it's not overly like self-referential or anything.
There are times though.
There are times.
And they're really funny when they are.
Yeah, exactly. But no, so saying all that, everything, kind of how it pulls every aspect of not just the filmmaking process, but the story process
and acting.
Every element.
It's firing on all cylinders. I think.
Completely agree. Like, all that said, obviously, here on Tavern Talk we do out of 5 stars. So, star rating, what would you go?
I'm gonna give it a solid 4.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a solid 4. I mean, to me, it wasn't a perfect movie, and I do like mysteries, and I do like movies like Clue. And I don't know, there was still something from it that I felt was missing. I don't know what it was, and maybe it's just whatever mood I was in watching it, or the mood I'm in now. But like, it's probably going to be in my top 10, maybe and if not my top 10, my top 15.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
And it really, you should go see it, like, this Thanksgiving. Like, go watch it. I don't know. I didn't get the same feeling out of this as, like, I got out of watching something like Jojo Rabbit. Whereas, immediately after, like, Jojo Rabbit, I was just like, I want to go see that immediately. Like, let's rewind this.
That's funny you bring that up, because I'm kind of
the flip-flop. Okay.
Because I walked out of Jojo Rabbit being like, man, that was good. I really liked a lot of it, but I felt like there was something missing to the core of it.
You don't really know what it is.
I don't know what it is. I get exactly what they're going for. I loved the balance of tone it was able to walk, but I didn't. It just felt like there was something missing. Whereas with this, like, I just felt all the way through, it had very much a control over what it was doing, what it wanted to do, and then how it executed it. Just kind of felt natural and flawless. And no, this is one of my favorite movies of the year. I mean, it'll definitely be in my top 10, if not my top 5.
So then you give it a 5 out of 5.
I do give it a 5 out of 5. I was about to say. Yeah, no,
you don't even need to ask him.
No, it's by far one of my favorite movies of the year. I kind of absolutely loved it. So, and I, like you said, I can't wait to see this one again.
It's really good. Yeah. And I recommend it. Like, once you're done stuffing your faces with turkey or faux turkey or whatever it is, ham, go out and watch it with your family. Like, it's a fun time at the movies, and you and your family are going to have fun.
Yeah, I obviously wholeheartedly agree. I think it's one, we said this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Ford versus Ferrari. If you want more original movies like this, like Ford versus Ferrari, and you want to see them in theaters, go see them. And this is a great one to see in a theater with a big crowd.
And the theater was packed out.
I was going to say the theater was packed, and it was kind of just a really cool experience to see a movie where there was no kind of reference point,
there was no existing property.
Exactly.
Like so everybody's in here for the same
fresh
reason.
And experiencing this
and
for the first time.
And it really played well with everybody.
Did.
Like, they laughed at the right moments. I sound like I made the movie. It's like they laughed at the right moments. They oohed at the right moments. They awed at the right moments.
But no, it's true. They really did, and it was just a blast. I loved it. I would wholeheartedly recommend it. Like I said, one of my favorites of the year. Yeah. So that's definitely check out Knives Out. And if you're near a movie tavern, definitely check out Knives Out at the movie tavern. They're kind enough to let us see the movies and shoot here every week. So definitely check them out. Tons of cool deals, Tuesday, Thursday deals going on all the time with free popcorn, movie memberships, all that good stuff. Check them out at marcustheaters.com. And thank you again, Jordan, for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Always a blast.
Appreciate it. Yeah, no. I'm glad you got to see this one and talk about it, because there's a lot of good stuff to dig into here.
There's
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, and thank you as well for watching. If you haven't already, definitely be sure to like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell. We put out a new review every week of the biggest release. So you hit that notification bell, you'll get a little notification that, there's a new Tavern Talk by Initial Reaction. Do that. Thank you once again. Thank you for always watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
See you.